Hot cocoa. Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Genesis Gamer. You know, Intellivision needs to answer Arstechnica. They need to address some of these points because a lot of the things that have been going on now for the past 2 years have come to a head to the point where you have articles being written where they're not only critical of the company, but also critical of the leadership personally. That's a bad place to be in. Of course, we've, in this channel documented the bad PR, the bad business practices that I've seen, right? And it's a criticism on the entity itself. And I've always tried to stay away from the personal stuff because I don't want it to detract from the actual criticisms that I'm making. Now, let me say this. I know people on both sides, and there's great people on both sides. We just may agree or disagree on a particular subject, in this case, in television entertainment. My disagreements are with the business decisions being made, the execution of the plan. I think it's a great idea that's been very, very poorly executed due to lack of experience, as far as I can see, right? That's just my opinion. And they point several things out here in this article that you're looking for leadership to address. And I mean, like yesterday, right? Because it's gotten to the point, the PR has gotten to the point where you have people with credibility, because whether you like them or not, Arstechnica does have credibility in the market. They do, right? And nothing they have to say really about this console is positive. And there's some things that they talk about here that are never addressed from anybody that likes this console. Now, I think one of the biggest criticisms that I get from people that like Intellivision is that I go into why and the reasons of certain financial decisions that they take. But the reason that they are called chill sometimes is because they never address them, right? There's things here that are blatantly not okay, right? That should raise some eyebrows and should be worthy of criticism and not just pass by criticism, right? Now, I'm not saying that even people that like Intellivision don't criticize the company, because they do. I've seen them criticize them for one thing or another, but it's not the major things. It's always about games. But the one thing they never seem to criticize, and where you can see their bias because they know Tommy, okay? And this is my observation to you, my criticism is because you know Tommy, you don't address these things, right? Because they're uncomfortable, right? They're uncomfortable to address because you're fundraising after the cancellation of 2020. When you pushed it back to 2021, April 2021, there is no way any logical human being could say that Intellivision, okay, or any of the people fundraising would think that that console would release in April. Absolutely not. With the state of the games, with the state of the OS that you see now that's incomplete, there's no way you could have thought that that would have been released, right? Maybe you had some demo stuff like that, but it was nowhere near completion for you to say that in 6 months you would have it done. Right, especially with the part shortage. It's just inconceivable that any logical person in business in that particular manufacturing sector would think that you would be able to accomplish that in that amount of time. You didn't. And then you delayed it again. And again, by the state of the games and by the state of the OS, meeting that October 2021 would be close to impossible. Right? So they should never announce a second one. So those are the issues while fundraising that I think, a lot of Intellivision or Tommy fans in particular should address, right? Because you're fundraising. When they bring up the issue of the investor being in the fundraising video, that's terrible. That speaks to the ethics of the company, and nobody stepped up and said, and I mean from Intellivision, saying, hey, you know what, this is not good. We're sorry, we missed it. It's not going to happen again. We're deleting it. None of that happened. None of that happened. And that, as I pointed out, not only unethical, It violates certain regulations, right? And just because you got away with it one time doesn't make it okay, because it speaks to the character of the corporation, and that has yet to be addressed in any major way by any Intellivision fan, right? Now, does that mean that I don't want the console to come out? No, I think this console should come out, but it should be targeted to retro gamers, right? I think that the launch plan should have been smaller, like many of the Intellivision employees said it would or thought, but they have no control. That's a one-man show over there as far as decision making, as far as what they're saying, right? And again, what's the use of having a lot of experts if you don't listen to them? Right? What you have now, to the detriment to the company, is you have a vanity project on steroids, and that's never going to lead to anything good. Tommy's involved in the design of the games, and also the CEO. That's not a good sign. Like I said before, CEO has certain things that he's great at, and that's why he's the CEO. Designing games and participating in manufacturing is not one of them. These right here are bad times, guys. These are bad times where you're looking for leadership. You need the leader to step up, address these concerns, and come up with a new plan moving forward. Whatever you may think, okay, about anybody, results always determine what the facts are. The facts are that we don't have a console. The facts are that it's been delayed 3 times. So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's where we're at right now. They're just doing the same thing over and over again, and when they get criticism, it's just hate. You know, I've seen Amico fans criticize the company for over-promising and under-delivering and saying, hey, we're going to announce this and then it doesn't happen, or you know, we're going to release this day and it doesn't happen. That is something that they've criticized because I've seen it, right? But why is it going on over and over again when the average Amico fan can see that's a mistake, but the leadership of the company doesn't see it? Explain that one to me. Because we're not talking about detractors. We're talking about Intellivision Amico fans saying you should be quiet until you have something to say. And they can't help themselves. They keep announcing things that don't come to pass, right? We were supposed to get information at the end of the year. It doesn't happen, right? We're at the 7th now. What's the number one rule of business? Be on time. I've told you that before over and over again. Being late on deliveries is going to kill you, and that's what's happening to this company. What do you need now to move forward? You need leadership to step up, address these things, and come up with a cohesive plan to move forward that they're going to follow, right? That not only customers can be comfortable with, and investors, you know, ultimately have to be comfortable with, because, you know, as far as me, do I want the console to come out? Yes, I do. Do I think it's marketed to the wrong people? Yes. You know, I think most Intellivision fans would agree with me that this should have been launched in the back of the retro gamers and then expand to other markets. But, you know, what do we know? Right? But at this point, our opinion is just as valid as Intellivision Entertainment's, because they have failed at what they've tried to do. And public opinion, general public opinion in the gaming market, is not with them anymore. At this point, we still have, like they said, 6,000 pre-orders. That doesn't bode well, right? That's just the diehards, the game hoarders like me that are ordering this thing. But there isn't enough of us, right? Every year, there's less and less of us and more of people that don't know what the Intellivision is. Now, is this a completely negative video? No, I just want to say that this needs to be addressed. Could there things that could be changed here to make it better? Yes, I'll make a separate video on that one. Now, let me say this. I'm going to make it, and you're going to see that probably none of the things I'm going to say are ever going to happen, but I think they're pretty good ideas to move forward with a venture like this. But let's see what happens. I don't know. But I really, really would wish that somebody would take a different direction, right? Maybe minimize the release, make it just a North American release, you know, consolidate the games, work on it. If it takes another year, hey, you know, if it takes till the end of the year, whatever, you know. But you got to have a better business process than this, a better business plan. Because if this is it, it's not working. It's not going to get any better. If this company fails, it's not going to be Arstechnica's fault. It's not going to be the CU podcast fault. It's not going to be Darius Truxton. It's going to be the leadership of Intellivision that caused everything. And I really, really want my wood grain, so I wish that wouldn't happen. I'm telling you, that wood grain, it's pretty sweet to the old man cringe community. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what Intellivision says. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.